Bonjour from Paris. Today we are entering a world of shadows, whispers, and secrets, a place where the past never truly sleeps. Welcome to Père Lachaise. Il y a plus de 70 000 tombes. There are more than 70,000 tombs. Some of those who were famous poets, musicians, writers, philosophers. Il y avait des personnes extrêmement connues. There were extremely famous people. From the tragic love of Abelard and Eloise, to the restless music spirit of Jim Morrison, to the laughter of Oscar Wilde. When it opened, it was not popular at first. In 1804, les Parisiens n'aimaient pas Père Lachaise, which is situated in this area of Paris, because they said it was too far, c'était trop loin. So they transferred very famous people, Molière et De La Fontaine, to come here to attract Parisians. Et aujourd'hui, and today, it's the most visited cemetery in France, in Europe, and maybe in the world. Donc aujourd'hui, on va regarder quelques tombes. We're gonna go to see a few stories, a few tombs. Allons-y. If you love Paris hidden walks and true crime, this series is for you. Cette série est pour toi. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos of the series Paris Hanté this month. We are going to see our first tomb, notre première tombe. And now let me tell you about the story of Abelard and Eloise. Leur tombe est magnifique, their tomb is beautiful. I made a video last year of l'île de la Cité, of the island of Paris. Mais là, nous y sommes, we are here to witness these forbidden lovers. Pere Abelard was a brilliant philosopher and teacher, and his student et son étudiante c'était Eloise, so it was absolutely a forbidden love parce que à l'époque, at the time, you could absolutely not do this. They were forced into living religious lives, et aujourd'hui, voici leur tombe. Their tomb looks like a Gothic chapel, very romantic style, avec les gargouilles with the gargoyles and with them lying side by side. And si on lit, if we read it, it says les restes d'Héloïse et Abelard sont réunis dans cette tombe, which means the remainings of Héloïse and Abelard are transferred into this tomb. They were transferred in the 19th century, au 19e siècle, pour rendre le cimetière encore plus connu, to make the cemetery even more famous. Mais moi, ce que j'aime bien dans cette tombe, c'est que au bout des pieds, at the tip of his feet, on voit un petit chien. We see a little dog. And actually, the symbol du chien, le symbole, ça veut dire la fidélité. Even though they were forced into having religious lives, they still continue to write each other long love letters. Et c'est bien en fait d'analyser chaque tombe parce que, as I mentioned before, it's like an open sculpture park with l'histoire d'art aussi. Voici le petit chien, the little dog, et il y a des gens qui ont laissé des fleurs. There are people that left flowers. There are lovers who come here to perhaps hear them at night and also to wish their relationships eternal love, l'amour éternel. I don't want to stay in the too secluded areas. I'd rather go to the bigger passages, les passages plus grands, parce que c'est gigantesque. It's absolutely huge. Et en fait, il y a des pancartes. There are little signs. Par exemple, ici, c'est écrit 11e division, which means the 11th division, parce qu'il y a 177 divisions. There are 177 divisions. Et ici, on est dans la 11e. Donc, il faut faire attention à pas se perdre, to not lose yourself, parce que c'est mieux d'avoir une carte. Unlike me right now, I don't have a map. Je n'ai pas de carte. aussi, ce cimetière n'est pas seulement un cimetière. It's not only a cemetery, which is also why I'm filming. C'est aussi un parc. It's also a park. C'est vrai qu'il y a des personnes qui viennent, there are people that come, et qui mangent, et qui discutent, et qui se baladent. And if you go all the way up, si tu montes tout en haut, tu verras des belles vues de la ville de Paris. You're gonna see nice views of Paris. Personnellement, it's not the park where I would spend my weekends. C'est quand même un cimetière à la fois d'un parc, mais il y a des personnes qui viennent ici. There are people that come here juste pour se balader or juste pour manger un bout. Et maintenant, and now, on va aller voir un chanteur très connu. We're gonna go see a very famous singer. Ce n'est pas un chanteur français. It's not a French singer. It's an American singer. And he was the lead singer of a band called The Doors. Je sais pas si vous connaissez, I don't know if you know. And his name was Jim Morrison. C'est la tombe de Jim Morrison qu'on voit juste derrière les barrières, that we see right behind the barriers. Il y a vraiment beaucoup de monde. There's actually a lot of people. Mais je pense qu'il y a des gens du monde entier. There's like people from globally that come to see him parce qu'il avait quand même des chansons iconiques, some iconic songs. Et c'est vrai qu'il y a énormément de personnes qui viennent de loin. A lot of people come from far. Et toi, est-ce que tu connaissais cet artiste? Excuse me, you traveled all the way here to come see him?
Well, it's been not just for him, but yeah, this has been on my bucket list since.
And is it because his music really?
His music, I saw him in person actually.
Oh, you saw him? Well, because he was so young. He was 27.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I'm not so young, so I was young back then.
Okay. Yeah. And you feel like his music really changed your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Have him if you
like
want to listen.
Fire.
I got them all on my phone.
I only know some of them, but I'm always wondering why people like queue to come see him.
Very iconic.
Very
figure.
iconic. Why was he here?
He was very much into drugs and alcohol, and he came to Paris to chill.
Okay, and it didn't work.
And he came with it didn't work, and he died here. And there is some people who say he didn't die.
And also some people told me that he's like on a photo. His ghost was seen on a film photo from another rock star at the time. The rock star was called Brett Meisner, and he visited him in 1997. Kim, figure in the background, like between the tombs, that looks like a man.
A lot of legends.
A lot of legends. C'est la tombe de Jim Morrison. Et ce qui est fou, what's crazy is that I just talked with someone that told me the main reason, la raison principale pourquoi il est venu à Paris, why he came to Paris, was to see him, because he met him when they were in their early 20s. Parce qu'il est décédé, il était très jeune. He was very young. He was only 27. Il avait seulement 27 ans. And so c'est fou de se dire qu'il y a des gens qui voyagent, there's people who travel from so far pour venir le voir, et c'est parce que sa musique a vraiment marqué une génération. The music really resonated, I think, with a whole generation. Moi, personally, je connais que les chansons connues. I only know some of his few favorite songs. Et il y a beaucoup de personnes à Père Lachaise qui viennent que pour lui, that come just for him. Et toi, est-ce que tu connais The Doors? Have you listened to the music of The Doors, or have you listened to the music of Jim Morrison? Et bien sûr, à part l'histoire de Jim Morrison, besides the story of Jim Morrison, il y a d'autres légendes. There are other legend stories. There's a story of la Dame Blanche, the White Lady. Apparently, when people come into Père Lachaise, especially late in the afternoon, quand il fait sombre, and in winter when it's dark early as well, they can feel and they can see a shadow as if they're being watched. But I don't know. Personnellement, je trouve que beaucoup de cimetières me font sentir ça. A lot of cemeteries make me feel like that. So if you are a little bit creeped out about les cimetières, je te conseille d'aller en journée, to go by day, où il fait beau, il y a du soleil, ça change toute l'impression d'un cimetière. If you're in the spooky, hanté kind of mood, pour le mois d'octobre, d'y aller une journée où il fait gris comme ça. There is another tomb in Père Lachaise, which is said to have the pieces of the devil. And so there are actually des groupes de personnes, groups of people that go there to actually perform rituals around that tomb. I'm not gonna film the tomb parce que j'ai quand même un peu peur. I'm a bit scared, but I will show you a picture of it here. Et là, si on continue, if we continue, on a la tombe de Oscar Wilde, donc un écrivain irlandais, a playwright and writer from Ireland, très très connu. You've probably heard about his play and his writings. Oscar Wilde, je pense que beaucoup de personnes, a lot of people, ils viennent à Père Lachaise. Pourquoi il est enterré ici? Why is he buried here et pas en Irlande? C'est parce que à l'époque, it's because at the time he was in exile. Parce que malheureusement, at the time when you were with someone of the same sex, donc il était avec des hommes, it was really not allowed under Victorian rule. And so he went in exile en France, à Paris. And so à l'époque, Père Lachaise was already a very famous cemetery. Donc finalement, il était enterré ici. T'as vu? Quelqu'un a fait un cœur. Someone did a heart with chestnuts. Quand on regarde la statue, when you look at the statue, there's one missing part. Il y a une partie qui manque, and that's because since he did erotic writings, il avait fait de l'écriture un peu érotique, there were actually people like coming up and like kissing that part of the statue till the point where people found it quite gross. And so the family of Oscar Wilde a demandé à la ville de Paris, asked Paris City to build this around it to protect the tomb. So la ville a protégé la tombe. And the family paid for la rénovation. Et on peut quand même voir énormément de personnes qui ont laissé des fleurs. We can see a lot of people that left their flowers. Et maintenant, nous sommes en face de la tombe de Edith Piaf. C'est vraiment une chanteuse française iconique, an iconic French artist, singer. Elle a fait vraiment des chansons très très connues. She did really extremely famous songs that you probably heard during the Olympics, pendant les JO. L'hymne à l'amour et Non, je ne regrette rien. Et du coup, elle est ici et on peut la voir et on peut voir qu'il y a beaucoup de personnes qui ont laissé des fleurs. A lot of people left flowers. Et c'est très beau de voir un hommage comme ça. On peut voir que c'est écrit Non, je ne regrette rien. Et il y a aussi un autre message là, another message, qui s'est écrit Edith, tes chansons sont toujours d'actualité. It means that your songs are always up to date and everyone is listening to you all the time. Et donc, c'est très beau en fait de rendre hommage aux artistes français, to French artists in this way. Je trouve ça très beau. This is the part of cemeteries I think that we don't see, qu'on ne voit pas. We always think it's a creepy place, a sad place, mais c'est aussi un lieu très riche en histoire, très riche en art, et c'est pour se souvenir des personnes, and it's to remember these people that affect our daily lives and that mean a lot to the French culture, to French people. Donc, c'est intéressant. Here we can see, c'est écrit Avenue transversale numéro 1, number 1, parce qu'on est sur une avenue qui transverse le cimetière, that goes through the cemetery. There are 4, il y en a 4, but they started out with 1, which is probably where the first person was buried. Nous sommes en face de la tombe de Parmentier. We're in front of Parmentier's tomb, who's called Antoine Parmentier. That was à l'époque un pharmacien. At the time it was called apothicaire. He's the one who really popularized potato, la patate. So you can see qu'il y a des petites patates alignées, and that's because people actually used to think it was a dangerous food to eat, and so they were scared to eat it. Mais grâce à lui, thanks to him, on peut le remercier. We can thank him for all the potato-based foods, comme le hachis parmentier, les frites, fries, les chips, donc tout ce qui a la patate, tu peux le remercier. You can thank him. And it's cute, I think, that people, they leave little potatoes with smiley face because je pense que ça rend hommage à la personne and that people remember where things come from. And here et ici, on peut voir l'entrée des égouts, so really the entrance to the sewer system. Ça se connecte, ça peut aller au niveau des catacombes. It goes to the place, to the catacombs. Et c'est là où on se dit que dessous Paris, under Paris, il y a vraiment une ville souterraine. There's an underground city that I think would be very interesting to explore, but is off limits. Mais c'est fou. Tout est connecté, tout est lié. Et nous sommes maintenant en face de la tombe de Chopin. We're in front of the tomb of Chopin, un des plus grands musiciens, one of the most famous musicians of our time. Il n'était pas français, il était polonais. He was from Poland, and he actually wished that he could be buried in Poland. Il voulait être enterré en Pologne, mais malheureusement, but unfortunately, he couldn't make it back in time. Donc, il était enterré ici, so he was buried here.
Chopin, il a 2 tombes.
Il a 2 tombes, oui, en Pologne.
Chopin, Pologne. Le cœur, Pologne. Le corps, Paris.
Paris. Oui,
Vous
oui,
êtes
oui.
polonaise?
Non, je suis pas, mais je connais bien l'histoire. Oui. Ah, vous avez quoi?
Ça, c'est pour moi.
Ah, c'est pas pour lui.
Non, lui, je lui donne. C'est moi qui lave sa tombe tous les jours.
Vous venez à sa tombe tous les jours?
Parce que je travaille ici, je fais des visites guidées.
Ah.
Mais puisque j'étais pianiste avant que je devienne guide.
Vous aimez bien venir le voir. Et comme le monsieur disait, just like the man was saying, son cœur est en Pologne, his heart is in Poland, mais son corps, his body, est ici, à Père Lachaise. So if you want to go see Chopin, there are stories, il y a des histoires qui disent qu'ils entendent du piano. They hear piano playing at night. So if you want to come here at night and hear piano, tu me diras, you'll tell me, parce que moi je vais pas rester, I'm not gonna stay that long. Et juste à côté de Chopin, right beside Chopin, de l'autre côté, on the other side, we have another very famous tomb. C'est la tombe de Denon, vivant Denon. He is a big reference of art history in France et surtout pour le Louvre. If you have been to le Louvre, you're gonna realize qu'il y a une aile, there's a wing building qui s'appelle Denon, son nom de famille. And that's because he was the first appointed director, le directeur du musée du Louvre. So the modern Louvre that we know today, c'est grâce à lui, it's thanks to him because he actually created the concept of having des départements différents. He named different departments. So we can thank Denon pour nous avoir aidé à créer le musée du Louvre, to help us create the modern museum of the Louvre. Et quand on descend un peu plus loin, as we are going down, on a une autre tombe très connue. We have another very famous tomb en face de la tombe de Robertson. So c'est écrit Étienne Gaspard Robertson. He actually had a lot of knowledge. Il était très intelligent, that he was really good in physics, he was really good in experiments. Et donc, and so he decided to use this knowledge to catch ghosts. Not real ghosts, but to scare people. He experimented by using this extremely rudimentary device called the magic lantern, la lanterne magique. And it was kind of like a very simple basic projector. Et il utilisait ça to scare people. So he would like project images, he would project like fog, he had a lot of chemical reactions to things that he created. Il faisait ça pour faire peur aux gens. He did this to scare people. Et ça marchait. And at first, that was not the initial thing that he wanted to do. But he realized that en faisant peur aux gens, that scaring people, que ça ramenait de l'argent, that it brought back money. Donc, il a décidé de continuer ça. He decided to continue doing that. And he also helped a lot of improvements for creating the hot air balloon inventions, which is why, d'un côté de la tombe, on one side, we see people with the hot air balloon. And on the other side, ce n'est pas ça. We see a flying skeleton, un squelette volant avec des fantômes with ghosts and people watching it. He's kind of the godfather of haunted rooms, haunted mansions, and people remember him for that. On voit la tombe de Mademoiselle Lenormand. So Mademoiselle Lenormand was actually une voyante, a fortune teller that was very, very famous, qui était très connue. It also created eventually le jeu de cartes, les Normands, and you can see on the tomb qu'il y a des cartes dessus. And she had very famous clients. Elle avait des clients très importants, dont la femme de Napoléon. So c'est fou de voir que, even all these years later, toutes ces années plus tard, que Madame Lenormand est ici, is here. Il y a vraiment personne. There's absolutely no one. On va aller au chemin Molière. So Molière is a very famous French playwright. He wrote the play La Tartuffe et il est enterré à côté de Jardin de la Fontaine. So Jardin de la Fontaine is a very famous writer who wrote all of the children's fables. We grew up with fables from De La Fontaine, so c'est fou, it's crazy thinking qu'il est enterré ici, that he's buried here. Molière, c'est une personne très importante, a very important person dans la littérature française, in French literature. Mais ce qui est fou, what's really crazy, c'est qu'ils sont pas enterrés ici. Like these are not actually their bodies that are buried inside, parce que ils étaient morts 150 ans avant. They passed away 150 years ago, before Père Lachaise était construite. Du coup, c'est pas actuellement eux. It's not actually them. So they just picked bones from the ossuaries, from les catacombes de Paris, et les ont mis ici. They put it here. It was kind of like a marketing stunt to attract the Parisians to come to Père Lachaise. Parce qu'à l'époque, les Parisiens n'aimaient pas ça. They didn't like that. They said c'était trop loin et ils voulaient vraiment pas en faire partie. They didn't want to belong to the cemetery. But when they saw that, il y a des personnes très connues, famous people like Molière et De La Fontaine. De La Fontaine is also really famous in French literature. He wrote all the famous tales, les fables de La Fontaine. Quand ils pensaient qu'ils étaient enterrés ici, when they thought that they were buried here, it worked, ça a marché parce qu'après, il y avait beaucoup de Parisiens qui voulaient être enterrés ici et qui voulaient venir à Père Lachaise, that wanted to come to Père Lachaise. Et maintenant, and now we're in front of a very famous tomb, une tombe très connue, c'est celle de Victor Noir. As you can see, il y a beaucoup de fleurs, il y a beaucoup de personnes qui ont laissé des fleurs. A lot of people left flowers. C'était un journaliste très connu. He was a famous French journalist. Et il écrivait des lettres contre l'Empire. He was writing letters against the empire to Napoléon. So he ordered him to do un duel, pour faire un duel ensemble. And so to settle things like gentlemen, they were preparing. And just as he was reaching out for his vest and the gun, and suddenly Pierre Bonaparte shot him, and so he died before being able to do the duel against Napoleon. So a lot of people are superstitious and say that by kissing him and by rubbing against his part, which we can see a lot of people have done, que ça allait aider pour la fertilité. It improved your fertility and your love life. Est-ce que c'est vrai? Is it true? I'm not sure. Mais c'est fou qu'il y a des gens qui ont laissé des fleurs, that people left flowers. The other day I was here, j'étais ici. Quelqu'un avait laissé une lettre, someone left a letter dans son chapeau, in his hat. Mais c'est fou. It's really crazy to think that autant de personnes viennent le voir. A lot of people come to see him. Peut-être ce sont des femmes qui cherchent à être enceintes. Maybe it's for women that are looking to be pregnant or that have trouble having kids. Mais au moins c'est gratuit. It's a free way to try. Mais est-ce que c'est respectueux? Is it respectful? I'm not exactly sure. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if there are these sort of stories from where you're from of people rubbing themselves against tombs because of superstitious reasons. Et ici, and now, on arrive à notre dernière tombe, our last tomb. Regarde toutes ces fleurs. No, he did not pass away yesterday. Il est décédé il y a très longtemps, long time ago, in the 19th century. Et toutes ces fleurs sont pour lui. All of these flowers are for him. Il y en a tellement, there's so much that it's overflowing, qu'on en a mis de partout. Et qui est-ce? And who is it? It's someone called Allan Kardec. So Allan Kardec, he was a professor of philosophy, c'est un professeur de la philosophie, but he was so interested in it and knew so much about it that he wrote a whole book about it. What he wanted to do was bridge between the living and the dead. So not really zombies or all that, but he kind of wanted to analyze the part of reincarnation so that us living, that we could be transformed into something else and that we had another life. There are so many people from all over the world qui viennent le voir, that come from so far, and that after he wrote his book, the Spiritualism book, it was so famous in Latin America and in America que les gens viennent le voir. C'était le fondateur, he was the founder of Spiritualism. He studied mediums, he did a lot of research, he even compiled messages from spirits, il a fait beaucoup de choses. And so visitors actually come here to seek a little bit of his help. And comment ils font ça? How do they do that? They actually touch the buste, like touch his shoulder, they make a wish, et ils font un vœu, et si ça se réalise, and if it happens, ils rapportent un pot de fleurs. Which apparently, ça a l'air de marcher. It seems like it's working. Il y a beaucoup de personnes that say that they also hear him and feel him when they come here. But a lot of people come here. Just right before I was filming this, I saw a woman tap and do the prayer sound and make a wish. And so I'm guessing if it comes true, then she'll come back. So if you ever come to Père Lachaise, tu peux t'arrêter, voir Allan Kardec, faire un vœu, passer un moment avec lui. Et si ça se réalise, and if you realize your dream, tu peux lui ramener un pot de fleurs, a pot of flowers. Bon, je pense pas qu'il en manque, he has a lot. Mais c'est trop intéressant, it's so interesting. It's a gloomy, rainy day, donc il n'y a pas grand monde, there's not too many people. Mais juste ici, just here, il y a la tombe de Marcel Proust. So Marcel Proust, I think every French person, we know who he is. He's a very famous French writer. He wrote the novel In Search of Lost Time, à la recherche du temps perdu. And he also brought the expression la Madeleine de Proust. So Proust Madeleine, it means when you taste something, quand tu goûtes quelque chose, it brings you back a nostalgic feeling of a precise memory in time. Et par exemple, pour moi, ma Madeleine de Proust, c'est la crème de marron, is chestnut cream, parce que ça me rappelle mes souvenirs d'enfance avec mon grand-père. It reminds me of childhood memories with my grandpa, surtout en automne et en hiver, especially in autumn and winter. Et toi, what is your Madeleine de Proust? Mais bien sûr, Père Lachaise n'est pas seulement un endroit hanté, it's not just a haunted place, et ce n'est pas seulement un cimetière, it's not just a cemetery, c'est aussi un endroit where there were lovers, where there were writers, where there were artists, où il y avait des poètes, where there were rebels. C'est vraiment un lieu historique à Paris, and it's also a place that is very open for everyone to come in, and as you can see, I've even talked to a few people while I was here. Et bien sûr, il faut rester respectueux. You always need to be respectful in places like this, que j'espère avoir fait. That's why I'm not focusing on names of the tombs besides the ones that I've spoken about who have already passed away. It's a place where life, la vie, la mort, death, and le mystère and mystery meet. Truly one of Paris's most fascinating corners. And if you don't want to miss the next episode of this Paris Haunted series, make sure to subscribe so I can see you la semaine prochaine, next week, or you can find the video in the description. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm sharing you a lot of cool stuff there as well. Je te vois très bientôt. I see you very soon, hopefully pas sous cette pluie et pas dans un cimetière, but somewhere even creepier and even cooler. Donc, à la semaine prochaine. See you next week. Merci beaucoup et à bientôt.